Well, hi guys, I'm Celestial Shadows, and welcome back to Princess Evangile. And we're on Chapter 12, Fallen Idols, and if I time this right, this is the 4th of July special, so happy 4th of July everyone, and let's continue. And just assume it's a girl, since there's mostly girls at this school. Because of you. Because you're here. Huh? What was she saying? Her face was terrifying. Then, thinking back to last chapter, it's probably America then. Scared. I was scared. If it wasn't for you. Huh? The flickering of the air around us caused her image to waver. The flickering was concentrated in a single direction. She was approaching me. Slowly. If only... I'm scared. Because of you. She was terrifying. I began to draw away, hiding the girl behind me. Wait, no. Probably a flashback to that festival then. Oh, it's still a girl. Hold on. I'll keep the voice. You should just... The woman raised her right hand. There was a flash of light from her palm. All around me was red, like the light of the setting sun. I wish you had never been born. That's usually what people say there. I heard a sudden shriek behind me. I shoved the girl away. Run! The woman's right hand grabbed for me forcefully. Since the girl with the knife looked like Rise a little. Was it Rise's older sister that tried to kill everyone? Or her mom? Or some relative? Or just some lady with pink hair just like her? Oh well. The woman's right hand grabbed for me forcefully. The glittering red light was now a single line. Coming toward me. Must protect. Won't make it. And it's June 27th. Wow, a whole week went by, so there's 5 days left. It's just a nightmare. I bolted upright. I felt a sharp pain in my chest, and I clasped a hand to my heart. It was like a pounding drum. My blanket was in complete disarray, even though the air conditioning was going so hard that I probably needed it. I had set it too low, but that wasn't the reason for my insomnia. My body was so hot that I needed the constant cold. Ever since the Peeping Tom incident, I've been having strange dreams every night. It was to the point where I was afraid to fall asleep. Never in my life had I felt this way. Probably had, but you forgot about it. And I just noticed there's the air conditioner. Oh. And that TV I never use. And that disc I never use either. Even when we were running from debt collectors, I never had any problem with it. Phew. I lay back down in bed. My pillow was covered in sweat. I glanced over at my clock. I didn't have to be awake for several more hours. It was becoming clear that something had happened to me a long time ago. Something that I had forgotten. And now I was starting to remember it. My past was trying to slip back into my conscious mind, though, through the cracks of the world of dreams. We have the survey results. A week had passed since the Peeping Tom incident. And I need another sip of water. A week has gone by. It was Monday, so the new approval poll results were being published. As expected, the results were not encouraging. Was it down to 100? Last 25? 20? It wasn't a big drop, but it was still significant. Where do we stand?
186票です。前回から20くらい落ちていますね。
I was close. Just like one vote off. So we lost... Wait, nope, just 14. I was way off. Kind of off. 186 votes. A drop of 20 since last time.
そんなものか。
Oh, not really. I see.
だったらよかったじゃない。当選権には変わりないわよ。
But that's not bad. We're still in the running.
ただ。
Yes, except...
ただ
Except?
なんとなく悔しくて。結局、タミエさんの言っていたことが正しかったということだけど。
It is very frustrating. I know that what Chami-san said is correct, and yet...
マサヤさんは何も悪いことをしたわけではないわ。それなのに忌避されるなんて、なんだかやりきれないじゃない。
It's not as if Masaya-san did something wrong. To reject him over this, it's simply too much. Risa-san seemed as if it were her own reputation on the line. I was grateful for the sentiment.
票のことは脇に置いても、なんだか納得のいかないものがあるわ。
Setting the matter of the votes aside, I simply can't understand it.
そうよね。悪いことじゃないはずなのにな。とにかく変態が捕まったんだから。
That's true. He didn't actually do anything wrong, and he caught a pervert.
あんまり気にするのはやめましょうよ。マサヤ君だってそれで周りからどうこう言われているわけじゃないんでしょ。
Well, let's not worry about it so much. Masaya-kun can't control what they're saying about him either, right? Yeah, that's true.
さすがに似たようなことはもう起こらないでしょうし。
And yet, it's not like something like that is going to happen again.
平穏無事にプルミエールジャッジメントを迎えられればきっと勝利間違いなしね。
It probably will, knowing Messiah's luck. As long as things remain uneventful, leading up to the premier judgment, I'm sure we'll win, right?
はい。
Yes. Yo. Yeah. The three of us nodded in unison, but Yuriko-san tilted her head.
平穏無事に迎えられなかった場合は
And if things do not remain uneventful?
ちょっと怖いこと言わないでよ。
Hey now, don't jinx it.
ごめんなさい。深い意味はなかったのです
Ah,
が。
I am sorry. I did not intend to offend you, of course.
でもあんた、ボートの日までもう部屋にこもっていた方がいいかもね。また着替えの最中に入ってくるようなことがあったら。
Even so, you might want to stay in your room until the day of the vote. We wouldn't want you walking in on girls while they're changing again. Look, that was because I got that weird email. It's not like I was trying to.
わかってるわよ。あんたがわざととかそういう話じゃなくて、アクシデントというか。
I know that. I didn't mean you doing it on purpose. I meant accidentally.
そういえば、あの時いたずらをした人は判明したのでしょうか？
On that subject, did they ever discover who it was that played the prank on you? It was Mitsuki, but they'll never know. No, they didn't, did they? I looked over to Rise-san, who nodded back to me.
ちょっと、なんで私を見るのよ。
Hey, why are you all looking at me? I guess it's just that when I think of pranks, I think of you.
おあいにくさま。それは私じゃないわよ。
Sorry to disappoint you, but it wasn't me.
もし私がやっていたとしたら、そうね。私一人が着替えているところに来るようセッティングするわね。
If it had been me, I'd probably... Yeah, I'd call you in when it was just me changing or something. That again? You remember that I'm a guy, right?
わかってるわよ。だからこそじゃない。
I understand that. That's why I do it. I wondered if she really did understand.
その後は何もなかったわよね。彩香様を除いては。
There hasn't been anything like that since then, has there? Ayaka-sama aside.
なんだか。
You're so mean. Yeah, nothing in particular.
じゃあまあ大丈夫かしら。あの時はまだ入ったばかりでちょっかいかけたかった人がいただけでしょうし。
Then perhaps it will be alright. You had only just arrived at the time. It's probably just a simple prank. And you guys are all probably jinxing
でも
yourself.
油断してはいけなくてよ。いよいよボートが近づいてきてあなたを貶めようという意図を持つ人も出てくるかもしれないのだから。
But don't let your guard down. The vote is coming soon, and others may start attempting to actively denigrate you. Right.
いいわね。知らない人の誘いには乗らないこと。ほいほいついていったりしないこと。
Good. Don't accept invitations from anyone you don't know, and always think twice before going along with something. I'm not a child. And 2 days later. The vote's probably like 3 days from now. That afternoon, I received an email. It was from Marika-san. From Marika-san? That's strange. I don't think she's ever emailed me before. I checked the message. Today at 5:30 after class. Meet me in room 3B. Come along. Just then, I remember the words of warning that Risa-san had passed to me. Good. Don't accept invitations from anyone you don't know. And always think twice before going along with something. Remember. Of course, Marika-san wasn't someone I didn't know, although I didn't exactly know her either. However, I'd always had the vague suspicion that Marika-san wanted to get rid of me. So for a moment, I was suspicious and wondered what I should do. What finally broke the tie was remembering Marika-san's visit to my room the other night. She had definitely been acting strangely. Are you righteous? She had even cried. To be honest, I was worried about her. That's why I decided I'd go to see her. Alone, huh? The classrooms would already be deserted around 5:30. The strangeness of that condition managed to elude to me. Bring someone. I guess it's time to go. And what is Marika-san's horrible plan? I have an idea, but I might be wrong. Marika-san was standing, facing the window. Even from behind, she was wonderfully elegant. I entered the room without a word, but she heard my footsteps and turned to face me. Salutations. Salutations. You need not force yourself to match me. Yes, ma'am. You are a boy. You are fundamentally different from us. Isn't that right? Yeah.
私、男子と交流を持ったことはありませんが、教科書に載っていることであれば十分に把握しています。
I have had little experience interacting with boys, but I have learned a great deal from our textbooks. What is that supposed to mean? It was an unexpected thing to say. Marika-san, you're the one who sent me the email, right? I decided to check, just to be safe. Yes. Then, how can I help you? And those dead eyes again. About to do something you're gonna regret, huh? Just as she had done when she came to my room, Marika-san walked toward me and looked up into my face. I realized that her lips were trembling slightly. She's acting strangely again. Probably would have called some help for her. Get her a psychiatrist with my leftover lottery money or something. The room was pleasantly warm in the light of the evening sun. Yet it wasn't just her lips. Her whole body was trembling. She quivered like a small animal. All that, combined with that calm, faint smile, I left a strange impression. Saya-kun. Please. Yes? Her words trailed off unnaturally. Are you okay? I instinctively put my hands on her shoulders. Mariko-san's lips moved haltedly, as if they were speaking someone else as well. She closed her eyes and took in a deep breath. Yes, I am fine now. But even as she spoke, her body wouldn't stop trembling. Do you have a fever or something? Mariko-san shook her head slightly. Then why was she trembling, I wondered. Mariko-san opened her eyes, then placed her hands on mine. Her grip was surprisingly strong. Think I see her plan now. I might be correct. Might be wrong though. Masaya-kun, listen. I am in love with you. Huh? Mariko-san's words had been perfectly clear, yet I had asked her to repeat herself. It was such a shock that I couldn't even comprehend it. I had one conversation with you, and I love you. I am in love with you. Well, two conversations. Because when one time they kicked me out of my room, and when she gave me that blank stare. But when she said it again, I understood, whether I liked it or not. Mariko-san in love? With me? Nah. Rather than any deep emotion, her sudden confession filled me with a sense of relief. A love confession would explain the stammering, the conflicted emotion, the redness of her face, everything. Of course, I didn't have any experience with love confessions, but I had images of what they were like. You're confusing a love confession with a slightly inner battle. I don't want to say mental breakdown. Oh well. The reality before me matched those images. With my hand still on Mariko-san's shoulders, I gazed into her face. Her lips were definitely trembling. Her face was bright red, but her lips were pale. What lips? I searched my mind, but the words wouldn't come. I wouldn't know the right thing to say anyway, so maybe I was searching in vain. But was this really a love confession? Maybe it was that fundamental doubt that was keeping me from finding the right thing to say. Why are you smiling? Mariko-san's lips curved up in a dazzling smile, but the smile was distinctly at odds with the rest of her face, which had gone sickly pale. She softly removed her hands and took a step backwards. Huh? She put a hand on the button of her jacket. I found myself wondering if she felt overheated. And I think my guess is right. But would people really take your word for that? If she says what I think she's gonna say and do what I think she's gonna do, and blame it for something I think she's gonna blame it for. After all, what else could it be? Russell. She removed her jacket, untied the ribbon of her breast, and sat down on a nearby desk. I think that rhymes somehow. Oh well. She then removed her brown vest, leaving just her undershirt. I guess she's really overheated. Yes, besides, really that stupid. That was still all I could think about. Really, you had the most perverted mind out of everyone. But what broke me out of the meaningless chain of thought was the realization that Mariko-san wasn't stopping there. I watched what was unfolding in front of me with an expression of complete disbelief. Mariko-san was undoing the buttons of her undershirt, one by one. Beneath it, her bare skin and a bra were slowly coming into view. Do I have to edit things out? Marika-san, wait! It was too much. My tongue was tied in a knot. I found myself backing away. My leg caught a desk behind me. Just jump out the window, Messiah. That's your only escape. The desk fell to the ground and I fell on my backside. Sounded like someone got stabbed. Marika-san approached me patiently and calmly with that permanently fixed smile. Her shirt was hanging open now. Her black bra stood out breathtakingly against her porcelain white skin. I realized with a gasp just how well endowed she was. And then it happened. That weird position. But she's a surprisingly good faker. Does it go down further? Because I thought this was like part of a nightgown or something. It doesn't really look like a bra. Oh well. Marika-san revealed her bare skin, as beautiful as that of a China doll. Masaya-kun, I am in love with you. Boys, they like hearing that, don't they? So, obviously I was happy to hear it, but I can't. And she's shocked. What? I'm in love with 5 other girls. Marika-san's eyes went wide. It didn't seem like it had ever occurred to her that she might be rejected. I appreciate the sentiment, but this is really like, how do I put it? I'd be happy if we both felt the same way, or if this was coming after we'd been dating for a while. Marika-san looked so shocked that I was starting to feel sorry for her. Maybe I should have said it something else. But this is how I really feel. I'm flattered, but I don't want to go this far just yet. And she's already crying. I see. Tears appeared in Marika-san's eyes. Was it because I rejected her? But it seemed like more than that. Then, you are a righteous man, after all. That again. It was just like before. Asking questions about my righteousness. And then, the tears. Marika-san? What is going on here, exactly? I touched her cheek lightly with my fingertips. Just like before. No. Please. Do not be kind to me. Huh? You really are a righteous man. You really are my neighbor. It means that I am the serpent that is worthy of scorn. Or you're not, just don't listen to your grandmother anymore and you'll be fine. What did she mean by worthy of scorn? I watched Marika-san as she moved to stand, trying to work it out in my mind. She took in a deep breath, and then, the next moment, I thought you stopped with the plan, and she's still going through with the plan. Wow. Never mind, I take back what you said. What I said. You're a mean person after all. Huh? She screamed and crashed into a ball. She covered her breast with both arms. The baffling chain of events had sorted out the circuitry in my brain, and I couldn't even think. Footsteps approached from the hallway. Messiah, just always have a tape recorder with you, and these situations will never happen. What's wrong? What? Help me! Marika-san stood up quickly and threw herself into the guardian's arms. He just attacked me! And all my predictions were true. I'm really predicting a lot from this game. Oh well. Okanagi Messiah! How dare you! Do you have the whistle? Sounds like a train whistle though. She blew a whistle and shouted, "Assault!" Several more guardians came to reinforce her. Assault? She was talking to me, yet my mind wouldn't register that I was being addressed. Really? I wish the guardian would have more faith in me after all the lives I saved and girls I protected. Oh wow. Ew. You filthy scum! You swine! That was probably too high. Even those cruel words stirred no emotion inside me. I was surrounded on all sides. They forced me to my feet, and I didn't resist. All I could focus on was the sight right in front of me, that of Marika-san's back. She was resting in the guardian's embrace, her body racked with trembles. Marika-san! The words poured from my lips. Why? Why are you doing this? Leave her alone! Now, get him out of here! I continued to watch Marika-san even as they dragged me away. Marika-san! As they pulled me out the door, I could finally make out Marika-san's face. She was crying. Her face was red and tear-stained, making it seem as if she really had been assaulted. She's probably crying about what she just did, though. But why? Why? The words rattled chaotically around my brain as they dragged me down the hallway and out of her sight. It's alright. It's alright now. Don't cry, Marika. Yes? Oh, Tammy-san. What's wrong? Rise-san, big trouble! It's all over! What? What's all over? Okay. Please don't freak out when I tell you. Alright? Messiah-san has been taken into custody. Taken into custody? On suspicion of... Timing cut off halfway. The sight of her expression filled Rise with unspeakable dread. The guardian led me to a dusty filling room that looked like it didn't see much use. They instructed me to wait there quietly, and they would have a verdict shortly. Then they shoved me into the room and locked the door. They were treating me like a criminal, and no matter how much I protested that it was a misunderstanding, they wouldn't respond. Maybe about an hour had passed, but without any clocks or windows in the room, I had lost my perception of time. I knocked hesitantly at the door, but as I expected, there was no response. I gave the nod an experimental turn, but it remained locked firmly in place. What the hell was I going to do now? What was the right thing to do? I knew what had happened now. Marika-san had set a trap for me. I just never thought she would go that far. Even for a performance, that took a lot of courage. Was she just that desperate to drive me out? That by itself was a substantial shock. But she really was acting strange. Marika-san was crying. She had been crying even before the guardian appeared. I could understand if she started crying after they arrived. It would be a performance to make it all more convincing. But if she was doing it before the witnesses showed up, then it probably wasn't a performance at all. And even after they showed up, her tears didn't look fake, though maybe I was just seeing what I wanted to see. In other words, even while she was setting a trap for me, she was fighting with her conscience about it. Or so it seemed. As I realized that, my seething anger started to abate. But I was still left with a single question. Why was she so desperate to drag me out? If she really believed that I had to leave Vincennes, she wouldn't be that upset about it, right? Marika-san hated what she was doing. That's why she was crying. But Marika-san was the student council president, admired and respected by everyone around her. Who could be forcing her into it? Or did she decide for herself, as student council president, that it was her responsibility? But she had just said that the student council was neutral in the matter, so that couldn't be it. With nothing else to do, I rattled theories around in my brain, but I just couldn't find the answer. And my stomach started growling. I was hungry. Speaking of which, wasn't it about time for dinner? Despite my situation, my stomach was growling aggressively. It was almost funny. Marika's perspective. Assault? This is unprecedented. An abominable crime. Attempted assault. Yes. That's right. That is an important distinction. The headmistress's words seemed to be mostly for my benefit, but to me, it was different. I wanted to make sure that they went easy on Messiah. She felt like such a fool, even though she set the trap herself. Madam Chairwoman.
Hi.
Yes? Oh, that's way too high for you. Yes. Regardless of what the students say, I believe I have been magnanimous in my handling of him so far. I wonder what you could be thinking, now that you see the results of it. All that I am thinking is that this is a terrible tragedy. Is that all? Even at a time like this, you show an admirable generosity, Chairwoman. It was a terrible irony. But my intent is not to chastise you. I shoulder my share of blame for agreeing to this. Now, all that I feel is regret. I should have stopped this transfer student nonsense at any cost. But you seem to be reacting a bit hastily, Madam Headmistress. What are you talking about, Madam Chairwoman? I am flabbergasted by your words. This is not some minor crime like leaving school grounds without permission or uploading unseemly photographs.
校則違反ですらない。法を犯しているのです。
This is a criminal act. It is not merely a violation of school rules. He has broken the law.
待ってください。私はマリカに確認したいことが。
Wait a moment. There's something I should like to confirm with Marika before.
いいえ、待ちません。何を待つ必要があるというのですか？
No, I will not wait. What need do I have to wait?
ただ、
It's just...
今すぐ警察を呼びます。
I'm calling the police right now.
待ってください。
Well, wait a minute.
え？
その警察を呼ぶというのはどうでしょうか。
Well, what did you think would happen, Marika? Well, why are you calling the police? With the word police, Marika's entire body started to tremble. I should have known this would happen, yet it didn't occur to me until now. It seems so unlikely.
どうして？おこのぎまさやはもはや人ではありません。野獣です。人の皮をかぶった野獣にはふさわしい場所があるはずです。
Why? Okanagi Masai is not a human being. He is a beast. A beast assuming human form. He should be dealt with by the proper authorities.
ただ、その...
But... Well... I looked around dazed. It would be awful if the police got involved. What could I possibly say to change the headmistress's mind?
なんです。早く言いなさい。野獣が今も敷地の中にいるかと思うと、私はゾッとするのです。
What? Just spit it out already. Just the thought of that beast being nearby makes my skin crawl.
警察が踏み込んだとなると、バンセンヌにとって拭いようもない汚点になるのではないかと。
It's just, if the police were to get involved, it would irrevocably tarnish the name of Inseams.
それが私、心配で。
And I don't want that to happen. The headmistress thought long and hard on that. And in the end, she nodded.
なるほど。
I see.
ですから、私としては内々の処理を望みます。
So, I think that any punishment should remain within the school.
というと?
By which you mean... expulsion?
マサヤ君、おこのぎマサヤの方向、それが妥当ではないかと。
Expel Okanagi Messiah. I believe that would be punishment enough.
それもそうかもしれませんね。わかりました。ではそれで。
You may be right. Very well, in that case.
マリカ、私はあなたに聞きたいことがあります。
Marika, there is a question I would like to ask you.
何でしょう?
What is it? I suddenly felt cold when the chairwoman's eyes, which were always unfailingly gentle, were now fixed on me with chilling gaze.
さすがにためらいは禁じ得ませんが、さりとて確認せずに済ませることもできません。
I understand you may be hesitant to answer questions, but there is something that I must ask you before I am satisfied. Now you sound too much like Ritsuko. It's been too long, Chairwoman.
今回の事件、本当に
Did this event really... Before she could finish, the door opened with a bang and a crowd of students flooded in with Rise at the lead.
校長先生!
Madam Headmistress!
何ですかリセ、ノックもせずに。
What is it, Rise? Why didn't you knock?
話は聞きました。これは一体どういうことですか?
I heard everything. Just what on earth is going on here?
あなたは何を言っているのです? 質問する相手が違うでしょう。
What are you talking about? Don't you think you're asking the wrong person?
マサヤさんがそんなことするはずがありません。
Masaya-san would never do something like that. How could she be so certain? I disorientedly watched the younger student known as Soleil de Ecole.
そうだわ。
That's right! The others fanned out behind her as they entered the room.
マサヤがそんな暴行だなんて私信じられない。
Messiah would never assault. Are you serious? I can't possibly believe it.
同感。
I agree.
私にもだいぶ意外な感があります。
I was surprised to hear it as well.
律子、あなたまでそんなことを言うの？
But Tsuko, do you believe this nonsense too?
それはどういう意味、母さん？私は自分の印象を述べているだけだわ。
What exactly do you mean by that, Mother? I'm merely stating my impression.
もちろんその印象は間違っていたのかもしれません。ただ
Naturally, it is possible that my impression could be mistaken. However,
ええ、間違いだったのよ、律子。
yes, Ritsuko, it absolutely is mistaken.
ただですね、私は以前実地に試したのです。マサヤ様がタンタトルセルパンなんかではないということを。
But still, I tested it myself. Messiah-sama is not a teenager serpent.
このみ、あなたはまだ中期課程でしょ。引っ込んでいなさい。
Konami, you are still in intermediary course. Please leave.
聞かせてください、校長先生。マサヤさんはこれからどうなるのですか？部屋にもいなかったし。
Please tell me, Madam Headmistress, what is going to happen to Messiah-san? I can't even find him in his room.
決まっているでしょう。即時の方向処分です。
That should be obvious enough. He's to be expelled immediately.
それはいつ決まったのですか？
And when did you decide that?
たった今です。
Just now.
マサヤさんがこの場にいないのにですか？
You mean without Messiah-san even being here?
汚らわしい。なぜ野獣をこの部屋に入れなければならないのです。
That dirty. And just why should I have to tolerate the presence of that filthy beast?
野獣って
Beast?
野獣とは何を？
It's not a beast.
千穂、その口の聞き方は何です？
Chio, hold your tongue.
マサヤは野獣なんかじゃない。
Messiah is not a beast.
これだから後期のお客さんは。
You wretched little tourist.
いつ入ったかなんて関係ありません。間違いは間違い、それだけです。
When I joined the school has nothing to do with anything. A mistake is a mistake, that's all.
まあいいでしょう。それで、リセ、何を言いたいのです？
Very well then. Rise, what exactly are you trying to say?
当事者不在でそんなことを決めていいのですか？
I'm saying that you can't decide these things without him.
呼ぶ必要があるのですか？
Are you telling me I should bring him here?
だってこれでは欠席裁判です。
He has the right to be present at his own trial.
裁判？審理する必要などありません。
Trial? There's no need for a trial.
いいえ、ありますよ、校長先生。
No, there is, Madam Headmistress. Of course there is. It's her word against his.
理事長、この後に及んでまだそのようなことをおっしゃるのですか？
Madam Chairwoman, are you still insisting on that, even after all that's happened?
こうした場合だからこそです。マリカ。
It is because of what's happened that I insist. Marika? Yeah. Yes, ma'am? My voice trembled at the unexpectedly harsh tone.
本当に起こったことなのですか？私が確認したいことはそれなのです。
Did this really happen? That is all I want to ascertain.
そうよ、そうだわ。いくらマリカ様の証言とはいえ、私。
That's right. Yes. Even with Marika-sama's testimony, Rise fell silent at a glance from the chairwoman and turned her attention back to me. This time, her voice resounded with the fury of heaven.
あなたは正しいことを述べていますか？マリカ。
Is what you are saying righteous America? In that moment, the world went dark. Use the keyword. And this is a short chapter. The door finally opened and a voice had come out. But the next part of the chapter could be an hour and 20 minutes again and trick me. Masaya-san! You guys! As I walked out into the hallway, I was surprised to see my friends gathered there. Are you okay? Did they do anything awful to you? They all crowded around me. Yeah, no, I'm fine. I laughed just a little. Really? What's so funny? No, you're just all acting so worried. It was like they thought I had been roughed up or something. Well, we are worried. And I think that's the first time Rise cried. Huh. The tears welled up in her eyes. The tears welled up in my eyes? Oh. I was starting to feel a little shaken up. They had packed you away in that tiny little room, even though they haven't even heard the whole story. That's right. I was worried about you too. Are they all crying? Chill. It sounded like the Guardian were really hard on you. Okonagi Masaya, come with me. The chairwoman has asked to see you. And footsteps. Without waiting for my answer, the Guardian turned on her heel. I wonder what she wants. Really? Obviously, she wants to hear your side of the story. Huh, right. I don't doubt you in the slightest, Masaya-san. I'll be your one and only ally, no matter what. Rise-san. Don't say one and only. I feel the same way. Yeah, yes. Oh well, it's just an expression, after all. Masaya, we had a misunderstanding when I first saw you again. But no worries this time. I trust you. Chiro. Me too. And me. I do as well. So do I. And even Pantabelle. So it's 7 against 2. Or 3. I had to press a hand to my forehead to hold back my tears. Or 6. Yeah, 7. I was so grateful for their kindness. In the year before I came to Vincennes, no one would have ever put their faith in me like this. I was so afraid of the debt collectors, I never tried to interact with anyone. So I spent all my days alone. But now, it was different. When I was locked away in that cramped little room, I had started to feel anxious about what was going to happen. But when I looked around at my friends' faces, I started to believe that it would work out somehow. On a personal level, I feel the same way. But sorry to say, as a reporter, I have to remain neutral. Despite her usual joking manner, Tammy-san was dead serious. But I promise, I'm going to publish the truth of this incident No matter what. The truth? I hope that you do.
曇りのない目じゃない。私も少し安心したかな。
It sounds like you do. That's a load off my mind. What are you doing? Hurry up! Gordane looked back at me from around the corner.
じゃあ、行きましょう。対決だわ。
Well, let's go. It's time for a showdown. Right. Who will win this battle? I reached the headmistress's office, where she and the chairwoman sat, along with Marika-san, who was for some reason passed out on the sofa.
心配ですね。やはりパーテーションでも持ってきましょうか。
I'm worried. Maybe you should bring the partition after all. As we entered, the headmistress spoke to the chairwoman without even sparing me a glance.
パーテーション？
Partition?
被害者と加害者が顔を合わせるのですから。その恐怖感は今後のトラウマにさえなるかもしれません。
Her terror at facing the perpetrator of the crime could exacerbate her trauma.
それは気の回しすぎでしょう。
I don't think that will be necessary.
そうでしょうか。かわいそうに。疑われたショックだけでも倒れてしまったのですよ。
Don't you? The poor thing. The shock of your accusation caused her to pass out.
校長先生、ご安心を。我々がいます。不穏な動きを見せた瞬間、捕獲しますから。
Don't worry, Madam Headmistress. We are here. The moment he shows the slightest impropriety, we'll have him back in custody.
ええ。
Very well. The headmistress nodded, but didn't look reassured. Perhaps she just wanted the excuse to complain. And America's awake all of a sudden. At the sound of her voice, Marika-san opened her eyes and sat up. When she realized I was standing there, her eyes went wide.
マリカ、大丈夫？怖いならパーテーションを用意させるわ。
Marika, are you alright? If you're afraid, I can have the partition brought in.
マリカ？
Marika?
その大丈夫です。
No, I am fine. She tried to stand, but the headmistress stopped her with a hand.
座ったままでいいわ。
Please remain seated.
さて、皆さん。
Now, everyone.
皆さんがどうしてもというので面通しを許しましたが、一体これから何を始めようというの？
I have decided to permit this inquisition because you insisted. But what exactly do you plan to accomplish? Everything, but, maybe we could tell you that we saved your daughter from kidnappers. But she probably won't believe that either.
決まっています。事の真偽をはっきりさせるのです。
You know what? We're going to make it clear whether it happened or not.
事の真偽？それは暴行未遂事件のことを指しているのですか？
It? Are you referring to the attempted assault?
それ以外ありません。
What else could I be referring to?
なら決まっているでしょう。事件は確かにあったのです。
Then the answer is obvious. The incident clearly happened.
どうして言い切れるんですか？
And how can you be so certain?
その言葉、そっくりあなた方にお返しします。何を根拠になかったなどというのです。
I could say the same to you. Upon what basis do you claim it did not happen?
校長先生、私たちは白百合会はもちろんのこと、紅バラ会の律子と好みもマサヤさんとは交流を重ねてきました。
Madam Headmistress, we, the White Lily Society, obviously enough, but Mitsuko and Konami of the Red Rose, too, have interacted with Messiah-san.
だから言い切れるんです。その月日が根拠です。
That's why I can be so certain. The time we spent together is my basis.
人の信頼に話を持っていくわけですね。生徒会長でもあるマリカとお好みマサヤを天秤にかけようというのですか？
You're making this a matter of trustworthiness? You think that the Student Council President Marika and Okanagi Messiah would balance on the scales?
少子ですね。
It's absurd.
確かにマリカ様は みんなに望まれて生徒会長に就任しました。
It is true that Mirka-sama was elected the student council president by the will of the students.
全校生徒の憧れと信頼感は熱いものがあります。
She has the trust and admiration of the entire student body.
分かっているではないですか。そのマリカが嘘など。
Then you should realize that she would never lie about.
ただ、
However, Rise-san spoke, interrupting the headmistress.
私は思うんです。だからってマリカ様も無病の存在というわけではない。
I also believe that Mirka-sama is not infallible.
時には道を誤ることもある。それが人間であると私は確か宗教道徳の時間に教わりました。
She can choose the wrong path. That is what it means to be human. I believe we learned that in religious morality class.
聞かせてください、マリカ様。事件は本当にあったことなのですか？
Tell me something, Mirka-sama. Did this incident really happen?
決まっています。
Of course it did.
本当に？
Really? Yes.
嘘をついていないと誓うのですか？
Do you swear that you are not lying?
誓います。
I swear it.
何に対して？
To whom?
何に対して？
To whom?
今の誓いは何に向けられたものなのでしょう。ひいてはマリカ様の正しさは。
To whom do you swear? Without a basis, then how can we?
神に決まっているでしょう。
She's swearing to God, of course. The headmistress snapped out the words. Rise-san ignored her.
マリカ様はクリスチャンだったのですか？
Are you a Christian, Mirka-sama? Probably not.
私。
Hi.
黙りなさい。形式上、私からも聞きます。おこのぎまさや。
Be quiet. I will be handling the questions now. Okanagi Messiah? Yes, ma'am.
事件を起こしたのか、起こさなかったのか。
Did this happen
答え
or
なさい。
did this happen or not? Answer me clearly. It didn't happen.
では、議論は平行線になるわけですね。
Then your arguments are the same. The headmistress for some reason let out a triumphant laugh.
マタイによる福音書第7章には、人を裁くなとあります。もちろんそれは正しいのですが。
The Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, says judge not. That is, of course, correct, but...
御国の未だ到来しないこの地上では、正しいことがその通りに行われないこともまた事実です。
As God's kingdom has not yet come, we must accept a reality in which things do not always proceed righteously.
現実として、人は人を裁かなければなりません。この場合の判事は誰でしょうね。リセ、あなたは誰の裁きなら納得するのですか？
In reality, humans must judge others. Who then should be the judge? Rise. Who could judge this matter in a way that would satisfy you?
あなたの大好きな世論、生徒たちの総意。それによる裁きであるなら納得するのではありませんか？
You do love public opinion, the consensus of the students. If we were to put this matter to their judgment, you'd be satisfied, wouldn't you? Nope, then I'd definitely get expelled. I realized then the source of the headmistress's triumph. I'd managed to acquire some support, but my chances against Mirka-san were still low. Who was lying? Only the two of us knew the truth.
ピラトの審問さながらというわけですね。釈放されるのはイエスなのか、それともバラバなのか。
Like the judgment of Pilate, will it be Jesus who is liberated? Or Barabbas? Barabbas?
キリストになぞらえるのは感心しませんが、まあそんなところでしょう。
I'm not pleased that you're comparing him to the Christ, but yes, that is more or less like it. Or less it.
では、民衆を誤った方向に導いたカヤパは、校長先生、 あなたになるわけですか？
Then what would make you? Then that would make you Caiaphas, the man who led the crowd to that sinful decision, wouldn't it?
何とでも言いなさい。ボートの結果は何人も否定できませんよ。
Say what you will. There's no one who will dispute the results of a vote.
待ってください。そもそも証拠はあるのですか？
Wait a minute. Do you even have any proof?
証拠？
Proof?
ですから
Hell.
体液といったようなです。
It's attempted assault, not assault. Yeah. You know, like fluids or something. Look at her eyes. The headmistress turned to Marika-san, seemingly unconsciously. Marika-san was hunched over the couch, looking quite small indeed.
マリカ、確かに証拠があれば、この人たちもグーの音も出ないでしょう。あるのですか？
Marika, is it true that you have proof and will silence all of their objections? Do you?
いえ、ありません。一斉取ったので。
No, I do not. It was only attempted after all.
そう。まあ、やっていないという証拠もありませんからね。
I see. Then it appears the burden of proof is on your side then.
そんな。母さん、ないことの証明は悪魔の証明だわ。できっこない。
Oh no, Mother, asking to prove that something did not happen is probatio diabolica. It can't be done.
証拠を持ち出したのはリセの方よ。だから私は生徒たちに判事になってもらおうと言っているのでしょう。
It was Rize who brought up the subject of proof. That is why I propose leaving the judgment to the students. If only they had security cameras everywhere.
ではそういうことで。いいですね、理事長。
Then that's that, isn't it, Madam Chairwoman? In the end, she never answered.
悔しいわね。結局、終始校長のペースだったじゃない。
I can't stand it. The headmistress controlled the whole conversation from beginning to end. Rize-san barked in irritation as we left the room. I was permitted to return to my room for now, but I walked with a guardian in front of me and one behind. It felt like a prisoner's escort.
でもあの人、相変わらず頭が切れるわ。悪知恵かしらね。
She's really as sharp as ever, though. She's a real snake, isn't she?
綾香、校長先生をそのように言うものではありませんよ。
Ayaka, that is no way to speak about about the headmistress.
あら、私は校長先生に対してではなく、母親に向けて言ったんですわ。
Uh-oh. But I'm not talking about the headmistress. I'm talking about my mother. We left the empty school building. We went outside. As if in defiance of the clamor inside, the night outside was quiet. The building stood here and there, silhouetted against the darkness. It felt bleak and foreboding in a way. It never did during the day. I wonder if everyone else knows what happened.
とっくよ。バーンセーヌのネットワークは光の速度で情報を伝えるもの。
They sure do. Information travels across the Vincine's network faster than the speed of light. Yep, I thought so. I see.
いずれにしろ、報道部の仕事もあるわ。確実に全校が知るということ。だから。
That's the job of the news club after all. To report information to the whole school. So.
校長先生の案を拒絶するのは、ちょっと難しいと思う。
I think it's going to be hard to beat the headmistress on this one.
じゃあ、どうすればいいのよ。
Then, what are we going to do?
ねえ、ルリコさん、どうしたらいいと思う？なんかいい考えとかない？
Hey, Yuriko-san, what should we do? You have an idea, don't you? Sadly no, and neither does Pentaville. Yuriko-san was usually quite on the ball about things, but this time she just turned her eyes down silently.
もちろん、 証拠を探すしかないわね。
Obviously, we have to find proof.
証拠って
Proof? Proof? But
難しいんじゃないかしら。リツコの言う通りだわ。
that's gonna be pretty hard. It's like Ritsuko said.
ええ、だから残る手段としてはマリカ様に正直になってもらうしかないと思います。
Yes, which means that our only remaining option is to get Marika-sama to admit the truth.
でもそれも難しいわよね。
That's gonna be hard too.
まあ明日また話し合いましょう。それまでにみんなも案を考えておいて。
Well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk it out tomorrow. Until then, let's all try to think of a plan.
え、
Right?
了解。
Got it.
わかりました。
Understood.
わかりました。
Understood.
了解です。
Roger. Sure. You're still following me?
当然だ。ドアの前で見張りに立たなければならないのだから。
Of course. We'll always be standing guard in front of your door. I was under house arrest as well. I wasn't allowed to leave my room in the dorm. I'd managed to avoid expulsion once before, but things weren't looking good this time. I kept faith that it would work out though.
謹慎というとこの前と同じ処分ですが、接見はできるのでしょうね。
I recognize that he's back on house arrest, but he will be allowed counsel, won't he?
接見？
Counsel?
マサヤさんはせいぜいが容疑者です。対する私たちは弁護団。
Asaya-san is a suspect. That makes us his lawyers.
弁護人が接見を許されないはずがありませんから。
You can't deny a man the right to speak to his defense.
校長先生に確認しておきましょう。
I will check with the headmistress. We gathered in my room, and I turned to face the others. Thank you, everyone. Knowing that I have allies makes me feel a lot better. Sure.
仲間はいいものですよね。試合でも団体戦の方が燃えます。
It is good to have allies, even in a tournament. It's most exciting to fight as a group.
ただ事件のことでは私も弁護側に回りますが、やはり紅バラ会の一員なので。
But although I will be assisting in his defense in the incident, I am still a member of the Red Rose Society, and as such...
まあまあいいじゃない。こんな時くらいは原理原則から離れても。
Oh, give it a rest. It's okay to relax your principles at times like these.
それもそうですね。
Yes, that is true as well.
留学生とはいえマサヤさんは万世ヌの一員です。生徒が敵と味方に分かれるのは限られた時だけにしましょう。
Even if he is a transfer student, Asaya-san is part of our fanzines. We should divide ourselves only when the situation requires it. As she spoke, Hiroko-san took Ritsuko-chan's hand.
さあ、皆さんも。
Join me, all of you.
ええ、
Of course. We all put our hands together once more.
みんな、マサヤさんを救うため精一杯頑張るわよ。
Everyone, we're going to give everything we have to save Asaya-san. Right.
え、
Yeah?
はい。
Yes.
はい、
Yes!
頑張りましょう。
Let us do our best. And a lot of ripples. Well, we win though. And it's the 30th. I think Judgment Day is like in 2 days, right? The next day, the school was swimming with rumors about the incident. From what she could make out, it sounded like the overwhelming majority trusted America. In fact, she had no voices in support of Messiah.
耳の調子がおかしいのかしら。
Maybe my ears are just going bad? She tugged at her earlobe as she thought about it, but it seemed unlikely to improve things. She had expected this to be the case, but seeing the reality with her own eyes really was a shock.
やだわ。私ったら少し不安になっているのかしら。
This is bad. It must be because I'm getting nervous.
あなたらしくないわよ、リセ。まだ勝負は始まったばかりでしょ。
This isn't like you, Rise. The battle's only just started. But despite her words, she couldn't clear out her sense of anxiety. If they held a vote now, they would definitely lose. She couldn't deny that.
マサヤさん、謹慎になって帰ってよかったかもしれないわね。
Maybe it is. It's for the best that Masai-san is under house arrest. People might accuse him directly, and exposing him to the rumors would just depress her. She could hear them even now. There's no getting around it. I guess that's just how men are. Yes, you're right. Men are all beasts. It's just like the headmistress said.
何言ってるのよ。3ヶ月もクラスメートとして接してきて、どの口がそんなこと言えるのかしら。
What are they talking about? He's been the classmates for over 3 months. How could they say that about him? The crazy chibies. Normally, Rise would be afraid to voice her thoughts, but she remained cautious today. Wouldn't be afraid. When I read that last article in the newspaper, I started wondering if something like this might happen. The last article? You know, when he beat up the peeping Tom? Why's that?